Right, there we go. So, I wasn't on mute. My mic just dropped out of the scene for some reason. Believe it or not, yeah, this was a technical thing. It wasn't me on mute. It was the mic had deselected from my list of audio files. So there we are. Hope you can hear me now anyway. Yeah, the mic's on. Wasn't muted. I don't know why, but sometimes OBS just refuses to acknowledge one of the things. So anyway, sorry, my apologies. Let's go again. Welcome in, first and foremost. Thank you all for joining me tonight. It is going to be an emotional night. And I'm going to do the only thing that I can do is be honest. I'm going to start off tonight by saying a couple of things. One, right up until the last minute before I was starting this stream, I was on the phone. That's why I was delayed starting the stream, so I apologise for that. Secondly, we're all going to look at this situation through our own unique perspective and our own unique eyes. And there is no right or wrong way to feel about the TRENT situation. So all that we can do is speak our own truths. All going to do it tonight. I expect you guys to do the same. But what I want to say is, please be respectful of each other, of differing opinions, and we'll try to understand the situation as best as we can. I'm going to speak from the heart, as I always do. And if anybody wants to have a pop at me, fuck off. Let me get that out of the way first and foremost, because you don't get to watch a video like the TRENT one earlier on and moan at me in the comments when it's very clear what the video's about. So let's start off with that. If you see a video that you don't like, don't watch it. Don't jump into the comments moaning at me, particularly if you've been a friend of mine for 6 or 7 years and you want to stab me in the back, as some have in the comments. It's not going to end well. So I'm going to say that. And 2025 is going to be the year of me telling it like it is. And if people respect that, I'm greatly appreciative. If they don't respect it, they know where the door is and nobody's forced them to be here. So let me just say that for a start. Let's get into the situation around TRENT. And before I do, I just want to quickly read out a couple of super chats and a message because people have spent their hard-earned money and I don't want to forget about them because I likely will. Call me reactionary, but 2024 is coming to an end. Where's the comment? 2024 is coming to an end. I ain't taking this stuff forward. TRENT can go. He can take Edwards and Hughes with him. FSG can do one. I'm beyond angry now. Can't deal with it. Thank you for that, Charlie. And look, like I said, I'm not going to tell you tonight that you're right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong. It is how you read and feel about the situation. So all I'll ask you is to be respectful of each other. Next one up, and then I'm going to get into all my stuff, but I need to just bring some of these comments up on screen. Happy New Year to you and the family. David, thank you. Same to you and your family, sir, and same to all of you tonight and your families. Does us rejecting an offer suggest he might stay? I'll answer that for you in a moment, my man. And Suleiman Khan said, FSG out, get 3 world-class players, no signatures. Thank you. And Nessie, thank you for gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. So, let me get this off my chest. This is how I feel. This situation with TRENT, I've warned all the way through that if you're somebody that thinks TRENT's keeping things private because he wants to be respectful, that's fine. I've never been that guy. I've looked at this situation the whole way through and I've thought TRENT wanted out. And like the phrase that I always bring to the chat, I think he wants jam on both sides of his bread. He wants the adulation and all the marketing ability that comes with being the local boy who wants to captain the club and do well. But he also wants the privacy to be able to string people along and not give an answer. You cannot have those two things, in my opinion. TRENT can do what he wants with his career. It's up to him. But what I've always said and what I've consistently said in my 6 years on this channel is I do not like football fans being taken for idiots. It's the thing that drives me crazy. And TRENT has taken us for idiots. Even if he stays, he's taken us for idiots. This isn't about wanting to stay silent. This is about wanting to have every avenue open for you. And that's okay. But we don't get to be told by the happy clappers and other people not to feel a little bit aggrieved by the fact that TRENT is staying silent. I've said all the way through, it doesn't take much to nip this in the bud and come out and say, I want to stay. But he's never said it. And that is very clear to me that he hasn't wanted to stay. I've never felt he was going to stay. I've always felt he's going to leave. Now, we don't know how this plays out yet. But all I can say to you is, as a fan right now watching this, He's tarnished his reputation for me as a Liverpool fan. I'm quite frankly fucking sick of it and the arrogance involved with it. But I'm most annoyed about being dragged along and taken for a fool and tried to make out like this has only ever been about trying to do things respectfully in the right way. That is dog shit. And if you believe that, as I've said, that's on you. You are free to have your own belief systems and look at this through your own eyes. But I can't hold it back anymore. This football club, like I've warned for a long time, is in a perilous place because of these owners. So we can be angry about Trent, if you want. But we should also be angry about the club letting it get to this point with 3 different players. And I've always said to you, I get the feeling that the club are wanting to pull on the heartstrings and save money by doing that. So everybody wanted to give Trent the space to make the decision after Jurgen. They did. He made the decision. Hasn't communicated it, but he made it. Now we're all just sitting here like clowns as Real Madrid come to Liverpool today with an offer. Now, I'm going to read you various comments over the next 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get into the chat. But I want to give you just a little flavour of all the things that have been written and posted today by former players, by fan accounts, by journalists, and then see how you feel about this situation. And remember, all of this could be put to bed with a tweet, with one sentence, which he refuses to do. So let's see how the day pans out, shall we? So first of all, we get the news from The Athletic and many others that we don't know what way this is going. Then it gets a little bit different. Then we get the offer coming in. Real Madrid have asked Liverpool if they will consider selling Trent in January. They've been told no. So that's the answer from Liverpool. No interest in selling in January. But why would you ask if you hadn't got any type of inclination that the player wants to go? Don't be naive about this. Don't think that Trent's sitting at home playing his Xbox or his PlayStation and doesn't know that Real Madrid want to sign him and doesn't know the parameters of a deal that Real Madrid would want to put to him. He does. And he also knows that by saying silent, he hasn't committed to anything. And that, my friends, is a cowardly move. That, my friends, is what takes you from being a legend into being another fucking also-ran, another Michael Owen, another Steve McManaman, another somebody that uses the adulation of the fans when it suits you, but then doesn't have the same respect, to be honest, with the fans when it comes time to speak it out. And that's where I am with this. Trent hasn't had the decency to be upfront and honest. He's been cowardly and he sat at home, allowed this situation to play out and hoped that Real Madrid gave him a get out with jail free card. You don't need to take my word for that. Former players are coming out and saying exactly that. Then Paul Joy said Liverpool emphatically rebuff any approach from Real Madrid to sign Trent in January. Paul Joy said Liverpool's stance appears to kill off Trent leaving in January as an option, although there remains the prospect that the England international moving in the summer. Then we had Lewis Steele saying Liverpool trying hard to extend Trent's deal and have had no indication that the player wants to leave. So they've no indication Trent wants to leave. They don't know that he wants to stay. Let's read between the lines a little bit on this one. Then we have Chris Bascom again saying Liverpool insists Trent Alexander-Arnold has expressed no desire to leave the club. However, many will consider it unfeasible that the Madrid approach has been made without the awareness of the homegrown player. Because it won't have been. Of course he knows about it. This one from David Ornstein. Real Madrid approached Liverpool to sign Trent. No offer made, but Madrid are willing to pay for the 26-year-old. Rebuffed immediately. No figures discussed. Plan will be to talk with the right-backs camp soon. On top of that, we've got Michael Owen, who's come out and said the very fact that Real Madrid have now made their intentions clear towards signing Trent Alexander-Arnold leads me to believe that it's only a matter of time before he signs for them. If he was going to sign a contract extension, Real Madrid wouldn't have officially made their move. Secretive talks will have taken place. See the word secretive there? That tells you everything you need to know. That's the loyalty. That's the respect that you're getting as a fan from the player that some people still want to hold up and think has done nothing wrong. Very naive. Jamie Carragher has come out then and said the most important thing for Liverpool in 2025 is winning the Premier League. No one's contract or future should come in the way of that. I love Trent as a lad and as a player, but his team would have told Real Madrid to bid, and also would have known Liverpool would turn it down. It's to try and cover themselves when he leaves on a free. Again, it's something the club fans don't need with a huge game coming up. So I don't know what else to say to you folks, but every avenue, every single column inch suggests he's off. And if it was all so untrue, and if all this was to the media, guess how easy it is to stop it. Very. One sentence, but you haven't heard that sentence. And why do you think that might be? Because he's playing everybody. That's why. Don't like to hear it, you don't like me saying it, but I'm calling it like it is. He's done this intentionally the entire way along and strung Liverpool's fans along. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. Remember, this is my view of it. You guys, feel free to let me know yours. Right, we're going to go through some of the comments because I know I've missed a load of chats and I'm really sorry about that. So this one, first one up. After 6 weeks of not drinking, 4 vodkas have hit. Happy New Year to all. Do you know what? I love that, man, and have a great night. All of you have a great night, by the way. And get it into you, man. It's New Year's. Enjoy yourself. Why not? Does us rejecting an offer suggest that he might stay? I would say no, it doesn't. It just, again, makes Liverpool look like they're doing everything that they can, which, again, I would expect. But the club don't walk away from this smelling of roses either. Let's be honest about that. FSG have let this situation get here. Hughes and Edwards have let this situation get here. So there is some blame to be shared around here. FSG, get out. Yeah, we've done that one already, I think. Sorry, I'm working back up through these, so I think I've already done some of these. Giggs, Scholes, Neville are legends, winning multiple titles. Gerrard could not, as Liverpool were hardly challenging, but his love. Trent Alexander-Arnold could have done it all. The thing that really gets me about it is that all those other players, the McManamans, the Owens, they left when Liverpool weren't competing for the big prizes regularly. Trent's walking out when the club that he's supposed to idolise and grew up in the shadow of Anfield, dreaming about captaining, is potentially on their way to winning loads of trophies. That's how much he wants to stay here, and I can't get away from that. I'm sorry, I can't. Right, where's this next one? Done that one. Next one up. Trent is a world-class... Trent's in a world-class team and can win more titles here. Exactly. That's what makes this all the more galling. And Brian, thank you, mate, for gifting 50 memberships. I really do appreciate you. More than you know, man. Thank you so much. And I know there's a super chat I'm going to get to in a second as well. Van Dijk and Salah. I've so many super chats to get through. Van Dijk and Salah, if they don't sign after all their love for the club, it's all PR. If they love the club, sign whatever they give you, then it's all BSPR. For them, it's not on them. That's the thing. They will want to sign. They've come out and said they want to sign. Trent's never come out and said he wants to stay. Virgil and Mohamed are at the behest of the club. And don't worry, we're going to get onto that situation as well because, again, I don't think the club have covered themselves in glory there. Trent reminds me of the Stevie G drama in 2005. But he ended up staying because reality hit him. But remember what came before that. A lot of anger. Some people burning shirts. Other people saying lots of angry things. But there's been enough time for Trent to have figured this out. And I feel like we've been manipulated from the Jurgen Klopp departure to now. That's how I feel. That Trent has used the Klopp departure as a way to weasel himself towards this contract situation. That's the way I feel about it. Brian, Happy New Year to the AA family. Absolute gentleman, man, as always. Thank you so much, Brian. And Happy New Year to you, Sarah, over in Boston as well. I'm done with him. Ruined his legacy. He could have had, said Andrew Gardner. They did the same thing with Mbappe in January 2022. Thank you very much for that one. Raul, I think it was. Owen Scully, thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Next one up comes from Shmunga, said, this entire situation has been distasteful. Trent has played his cards well from a business point of view, but he's lost a lot of respect and love and positivity and possibly a Hall of Fame Liverpool legacy. Let's say if Marmoush comes to Liverpool, we'll give 100% known FSG will do the same thing when it comes for his contract extensions. FSG out, said Nessie, and thank you, Nessie, for your support as always. Squeaky Clean said, FSG Hughes out. They're failing our club, and I'm beyond words to say how mad I am right now. Thanks for an amazing 10 months on here. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got one selfish little thing to ask, if I may. Top corner, you can see we're 112 subscribers away from 290k. If there's 112 people watching that haven't subscribed, firstly, welcome in and thank you for joining us. And what's going to be an emotional night tonight, there's no way about that. But if you want to help us out, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like as well. Charlie said, as much as I hate Owen, he knows how Madrid negotiates, and that's a concern. 100% convinced Trent's gone. Drop him. Don't play him. He disrespected us. Love you. Have a happy new year as well. Thank you, Liz. A lot of love to you and Ian and the family over in Florida as well, Liz. We do appreciate you being with us. Aaron said, Trent's situation is getting really poor. The club knows it. He wants to leave or not. Take the money. If he wants to leave or he wants to stay, sign the deal. And Philip McWilliam said, how can he ever play for us again? That's a really, really big topic. And I'm going to move on to that one, Philip, in 1 second, because I think that's the big question here. And then Max, the last one I have to bring up, said, Trent's a great player but needs to go. So, right, thank you. I've worked through a lot there, so now I'm going to get to what Philip asked there. And the question that I would have for you guys is, what do we do? What would you do if you were in a slot right now and this Trent situation was as it is? Because I understand if people say continue to play him, trust him to do his job till the end of the season. I'm not going to jump down your throat if that's what you think. For me, there's two problems. Firstly, like I've said all the way through, not just about Trent, but any player that knows they're leaving a club, I don't think you're ever getting 100% from them. I think it's human nature, and I don't think you're going to get it. But secondly, let's play out a hypothetical scenario that isn't too out of this world. What if Liverpool draw Real Madrid over 2 legs at some point, and we know Trent's going there? How's that going to play out? The whole game is just going to be under the context of Trent going to Madrid. Will he score against them? Will he look to assist against them? Will he put in 100%? Will the Madrid fans turn on him? There's just so many possibilities to destabilise the season that if Trent says he wants to go, personally, I would sell him in January. I'd rather get some money than no money, and I'd also rather get rid of somebody who doesn't want to be here long term immediately. I'm very black and white about these things though, so I'm not expecting everyone to agree. Some more chats to get through. Andy said, Happy New Year to all the AA family. I've had it with these multimillionaires angling to always maximise their commercial potential. How much do you need? So what I get about it, Andy, what I really get wound up by is some people feeling like that they get the right to just tell everybody else how to feel. And I've been reading through some comments from video earlier on. And again, it's just people thinking their view is the only view. And Trent gets to walk away with a big contract, with his legacy intact, like he's done nothing wrong. That baffles me. It does baffle me because, like I said about Hendo, with the whole LGBTQ stuff, if you want to build yourself into this icon and you want to walk in the shoes of somebody who is the local boy in Trent's case, who grew up idolising Gerrard, idolising the club, wanting to captain it and emulate it, the very telling point for me in all of this was the bit on Sky Sports News where Trent sat down and he was doing the sticker thing, you know, where they give him options for each one, and he chose the Ballon d'Or. That for me was a very big indicator of where his head's at and what he's about, because that is a very selfish award that people have every right to want to achieve, but I think it's very telling that that was his decision, and that told me what I needed to know. And by the way, I'm not somebody who's really gone in on Trent over the years. I've always tried to be as fair as I can. Sometimes when he's been jogging around with his hands on his hips, I've called it out, but ultimately I've wanted him to do well. But loyalty is a two-way street. People need to remember that. It's a two-way street. The fans got behind him and lifted him up. And yes, his talent took him where he is, of course. But it was extra special because he was a local boy. So to not treat fans with the same respect, which in my opinion he isn't, I find it really disturbing. When will we start calling him a traitor? I'll never call him a traitor. For me, it's as simple as this. And, you know, if he leaves, he's dead to me. It's that simple. If you go, you're gone. When your career's over, we can talk about it all again. But if he leaves, to me, he's dead to me. I won't even be thinking about him. He's gone. But I just get wound up because we're again being strung along here. And people want to think the best of people. People want to think that this is all just Trent being respectful. And I wish I was that trusting of human nature. But I'm not. Right, what else we got? Manny said, Trent's gone, roll on Sunday. I'm okay with Bradley as the man, just backup needed. Well, we'll move on to that in a little bit as well. Next one up. Drop Trent and have him selling the halftime Bovril. Well, that's going to be the first poll I'm going to ask, is what happens if Trent does decide that he's going to go to Madrid on a free transfer. I want to ask what you do for the rest of the season. Oh, sorry. This one said, if Trent does leave, who would you get instead? So, Bradley, but we would need somebody else. Hand on heart, though, I haven't thought about another right back. I haven't. I've buried my head in the sand on this one because I didn't want to believe that he might go. I'm being honest about it. I felt he would, but I was kind of like seeing it over there in the corner, but not really acknowledging it in my head because I wanted to not be angry on stream. I didn't want to be toxic towards him. I didn't want to get frustrated about it. But today, as everything started coming out like an avalanche of news, and everybody's getting worked up, and everyone's pointing fingers, and everybody's getting angry, I felt like I have to have my say, and I have to be blunt about it. Aaron said, can you shout out Joe? Joe White, he turned 7 today. Of course! Happy birthday, young Joe. Much love, my man. Turned 7 years of age today. That's amazing. Happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day, young man. And thank you for choosing the best club to support Joe. But happy birthday, young man. Luke said his ego has gotten far too big. Again, that's your truth, mate. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to call anybody out tonight for the way they feel. Everybody's entitled to feel how they feel. All I would ask is not to go in on each other, to understand there's a difference of opinion here. Really hope Slot drops him when he signs that pre-agreement. And what was the BS celebration he did versus West Ham all about? I guess we may find out in the future what that celebration was all about. But right now, I don't know. But let me just ask the poll question for the first time today. I'm just typing this out, folks, so bear with me. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, I think I've covered everything here. So the question is, what should the club do here? Keep playing him, sell in January, or drop him? I'll let you guys have the say on this one. We'll leave that running at the top. If anybody wants to vote away on it, please do. And also, as you can see, 63 subscribers to go. So thank you to everyone that's hit that button. I do appreciate it. Right, Liverpool FC Vlog said, if Trent moves on, what options have you thought about to replace him and work with Bradley in the future? Happy New Year, pal. My latest vlog is up if interested. Well, firstly, do check out the vlog. Always love a good match day vlog as well. So thank you for that. I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it. Like I've said, I've thought about him leaving, but I haven't thought about a replacement because I didn't know how to approach it. In the back of my mind, I think Conor Bradley will be the successor to Trent. And I think for me, for the remainder of this season, I'd sell him in January. So there was something floating around from Marca that said that Real Madrid had offered €15 million for Trent. I'm kind of, if that's me, I'm trying to knock that up to 20 and then I'm taking the money and saying bye-bye. That's me. I would. And I'd go with Bradley and Joe Gomez for the remainder of the campaign. I think we can still win the league with that. And I think that we could at least have some self-respect. Because it seems very, I don't know, very weak to me to continue playing somebody who doesn't want to be here and hoping that you're going to get the best out of them. Like, I know that there's some dipsy, tinky winky, bullshit nonsense where people think there's going to be a standing ovation on the cop from on the last day as he waltzes off to Madrid to, you know, begin a new chapter of his career, and you've got Jamie Redknapp and people saying that Liverpool fans should thank Trent for all the service, blah blah. Fuck off. No, sorry, that's not how this works. You get all the money, that comes as a given, but the adulation from the fans, you earn that, and it's about respect. And there has been zero respect shown to the fan base here from Trent. So for me, that whole stuff is bollocks. And just hippy-dippy, airy-fairy nonsense that isn't based in any type of reality. And I'm telling you this because I'm hearing from people at the game telling me what people around them are saying to them. What people are thinking about the Trent situation. So whatever people want you to think is the right thing to do is bullshit. The right thing to do is however you feel. You know, if you feel angry, be angry. If you feel it's fine, that's good too. You must keep playing him highest chance to win. Well, respectfully, I would disagree, as I've mentioned before, because I don't think human nature means someone's going to give you 100% when their mind's elsewhere. I don't think they're going to put their body on the line. I don't think they're going to run the hard yards. I don't think they're going to make the crunching tackle. And I definitely don't think he's going to do them against the club he may go to if we draw them in the knockout stages of the Champions League. But I respect your opinion, Ryan. I look at it differently, mate. Right, so, Charlie, let me get your comment up, bro. Said, a few things. Thank you for the raw stream letting us vent. Also, thank you for being open. I know sometimes you got to be careful what you say, but you're our voice, the one who makes us feel heard. Well, thank you. So I want to talk about yesterday for a quick second before we get back into it. So yesterday, as you may know, if you joined me on the stream, I was a bit down and I wasn't myself. And I finished the stream and I was sitting down talking to my wife and I looked at my watch and I glanced down and I realised what day it was. So I'm terrible for remembering dates and stuff like that. I forget my own birthday on occasion. But yesterday when I finished the stream and I looked at my watch, I realised it was the anniversary of my father's passing. And I obviously didn't think of that psychologically, but my body clearly knew, or subconsciously I knew. So, you know, that's where I was yesterday and when my head wasn't great. So thank you to everyone that sent me messages on it, but at least I had an understanding of what it was about then. And it becomes less worrying when you know what it's about. T. Broughton, didn't put in a comment, mate, but thank you. Who's this one from? Adam said, we need to focus on the players that want to stay. And that's what I love most about Jamie Carragher's post. So for those of you who may not have seen what Carra posted, I'm going to read it out again. The most important thing for Liverpool in 2025 is winning the Premier League. I think all of us here will agree on that. You know, no matter what we think of the situation, I think and hope we all agree, winning the league is the priority. That's numero uno. Nobody's contract or future should come in the way of that, said Carragher. I love Trent as a lad and a player, but his team would have told Real Madrid to bid and would have also known Liverpool would turn it down. It's to try and cover themselves when he leaves for free. Again, it's something the club and fans don't need with a huge game coming up. Back that up with what Michael Owen has said, which is the fact that Real Madrid have now made their intentions clear towards signing Trent Alexander-Arnold leads me to believe that it's only a matter of time before he signs for them. If he was going to sign a contract extension, Madrid would have officially made their move. Secretive talks will have taken place. Huge news. And they're former players who, whatever we think, know the lay of the land a lot better than you or I, because they've been in this position. They've been in dressing rooms. They know what's up here. So I've always felt like the line that I was getting when I spoke to journalists about Trent's never communicated to the club a desire to want to leave. I've always accepted that, but I've always posed the reverse of it as well. He's also not done the opposite of that. He's also not given the club any indication, concrete-wise, that he wants to stay. And I don't think those two things can be talked about of one without the other. I think if you're talking about not communicating he wants to leave, you have to ask, well, has he communicated that he wants to stay? And the answer to that has been no. So then you take from it what you want. It's best to play it. We need every firepower for this title charge, which is the priority. Besides, FSG will just pocket the money if we sell him in January. Again, I absolutely appreciate and understand everyone has different views on this. I'm very much a cut off my nose despite my face type of person. But I respect other people's views on it, and thank you for sharing them. Happy New Year, Craig and family. Let's keep our chins up. We're in a great place thanks to the mods and Connor. Yes, Connor is at the moment in Paris for New Year's with his missus. So, no doubt he's having a lovely evening and a well-earned break over there, I should say, as well. But Mike, happy New Year to you, mate. Right, Charlie said, let me get this back up. Never apologise for being human being, Craig. You're making your mum and dad beyond proud. You're making this community proud. Emotions are normal. Thank you, mate. You're very understanding. I appreciate that. Paul said, evening, sir, and Verge and Mo signing 2-year deals. I don't know. I hope so. I'm certainly very optimistic on Virgil and Mo. You know, we've at least heard from them that they want to stay. I think we all agree it's on the club now to figure out the Mo and Virgil stuff. But we've always felt as well that it was on Trent to indicate to the club his desire 100% to stay or go. Trent's attitude reminds me of an arrogant prima donna, totally up himself. Again, I find Trent hard to read on that level. And I don't know him, so I don't want to accuse him of being up his own arse or a prima donna. That would be unfair of me. But I do think he's been disingenuous. That much I feel comfortable saying. Brian, again, thank you so much, mate, for your super chat and for your comment. You said, have you gotten any insight from David Lynch? He's away for a few days with his family for the new year, which is why we didn't have the video yesterday. And I wouldn't pester somebody while they're away with their family. So I'll catch up with David probably just before the United game. But no doubt he, like many others, be like, of course this story starts to really break when I'm away for a few days. But yeah, I wouldn't message him, Brian. You know, I wouldn't ruin the man's break with his family. Strip Trent of the vice captaincy, play him until young Connor fully fit. Re-signing Mo and Virgil more of a priority, said Kelly, and thank you, Kelly, really appreciate that. And I feel like if we took the age out of it, Virgil and Mo are more of a priority to stay. But Trent, the age profile of coming into his peak, it's going to make it sting a lot more. And I also think that it's going to make it sting because we're losing him for free. And it's a situation that he manipulated to get to this point. Because remember when Jurgen left, I told you this story before and it's been printed in the media so you can search it up for yourself. But Liverpool knew that they could have tricked Trent into signing a new deal. They could have done it when they knew that Klopp was leaving and he didn't know. But they didn't do it intentionally out of respect. Now, you could argue that's naive, and I think it is. But at least I can respect that. I can't respect them letting this situation get to this point overall. I can't. I think it's a dereliction of duty. But they were thinking the best of somebody. They don't seem to be getting that back, though. I've already read that one out. Harry said, Trent hasn't listened to Klopp. Trent is no Liverpool fan, said Harry. Craig, should Liverpool use Trent's salary for a Salah and VVD now? Well, see, the weird thing is, I think the money for those contracts should be there already. Remember, last summer, Liverpool freed up somewhere about £17-18 million a season between the wages saved by Adrian San Miguel, Thiago Alcantara and Joel Matip, all departing the club. Now, we haven't really given out many contract extensions this season. A couple of minor youthful players got them, but none of the big boys. We haven't got a Canade deal yet, a Virgil, a Trent, a Mo. So that money's there. And we've had another 6 months go by of inactivity. Now let me read you the view from a Spurs fan on the Trent situation. If I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be booing Trent at every touch. Disgusting. Boyhood club, best team on the planet this season, in a title race, but you want to leave on a free. To satisfy his own ego, nothing more, whilst the noise is derailing the season. So that's the view from the outside. And normally I'd love to laugh at them, but I feel like we're being too nice about this as a fan base again. How does it mean more now then? Said Craig Adams. Yeah, it's a fair point, mate. It's a fair point about it. Where's it meaning more now? Then we had Marca come out in the last hour and say, deal almost done between Real Madrid and Trent. Now, look, we know that Marca are a mouthpiece for Madrid. We know that. But this is some ballsy stuff over the last few days that if Liverpool knew was absolutely 100% BS, not hard to call it. Not hard to come out and say, that's not true. But nobody is. And that's the part that's very frustrating. Come out and say it. Trent's not denied it. The club haven't denied it. I can tell you what the club have been briefing. But what the club have been briefing and what the club really think are probably two different things. The brief has always been that Trent hasn't communicated to the club that he wants to leave. That's the line. That's the company line. But again, I say to you, he hasn't communicated the other side of the coin either, has he? A couple more I need to get through. Thank you, sir. You didn't put a comment in, but I appreciate you. This one here said, Trent, don't come back when you cost Madrid a Champions League. When Diaz sits you on your arse, you can cry to Jude. I'm sorry, my anger's through the roof. I get it. I get your anger. I get your frustration. I just don't. I don't understand this, right? Because I'm a Liverpool fan. You're a Liverpool fan. And I can tell you that if I was playing for Liverpool Football Club, and I didn't even grow up in Liverpool, I'm just a fan, not a scouser, not somebody who grew up and came through the club's academy. I'm a Liverpool fan. I can tell you, if I was playing for Liverpool Football Club, winning league title, winning Champions League, on for another one, I would have absolutely zero thoughts of going anywhere, let alone Real Madrid or anywhere else. And especially because you should know what the Madrid fan base are like. And we all know that when Trent goes there and makes his first mistake or gets skinned on the outside by somebody, that they're going to be waving the white tissues, they're going to be booing him. Carvajal, they'll be calling to come back in. And if it doesn't work out for Trent, it'll be tough shit. He's not going to get anywhere near the same level of calmness he would have gotten from Liverpool fans around these situations, or understanding. That's probably a fairer word. I can't understand that mindset. I can't. If this was Liverpool before Klopp came in and Trent was in a situation and we were Europa League merchants and we were not challenging for much, I'd understand it a lot more. But it doesn't make any sense to me now when you can win everything you want to win here. And again, like I'll say, let's be blunt about this. He's not winning a Ballon d'Or. Whether he goes to Real Madrid or he stays here, he's not winning a Ballon d'Or because he's not good enough to win a Ballon d'Or. That's as simple as that. And he could win one this season. But here's the thing. He's not even the best player at our club. So he wants to go and win a Ballon d'Or. He's playing for a team that could win the Premier League and could win the Champions League. There's your chance to win the Ballon d'Or if you prove that you're the best player. But he's not. And he isn't. And he never will be. Salah's the one that's on for a Ballon d'Or. Virgil was the one previously that was on for a Ballon d'Or. So, you know, he's absolutely entitled to reach for the stars and dream about these things. But somebody needs to grab him by the scruff of the neck and go, it's not fucking happening, fella. You're not winning a Ballon d'Or. You're not good enough to win a Ballon d'Or. Right backs aren't going to be winning Ballon d'Ors. And if you do go to Madrid, do you think Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe are just going to stand aside and the club are going to fight your corner for the Ballon d'Or? I mean, there's naivety and there's just stupidity. And there's no way that Real Madrid are pushing for a Trent Ballon d'Or ahead of those other players. It's just not going to happen. So let's have a look at the poll. And by the way, 44 subscribers to go. If you can help us out and hit that subscribe button, appreciate you, please do. And we're going to move on, and I'm going to move on to speak about the club side of all of this in a second, because it's very easy to get angry about Trent, and we will, but we also should have some anger towards the club. I think that's warranted here as well. Right, so what should the club do here is the poll. We've nearly had 2,000 votes. So far, it's close between keep playing him and sell him in January. So I'm going to leave it running for a while longer, so we see if it becomes any clearer or if it's still close. But there's only a few percentage points in at the minute, so do keep voting away. Poor business, all avoidable. See you in Toronto. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for that email, by the way. Steve sent me an email earlier on with loads of options for venues in Toronto, because we're going to try and get an Anfield Agenda live show in Toronto in September. And Steve's very kindly been sending me some links to some venues that he thinks might be workable. So thank you, Steve, for that one, mate. Appreciate you. Here's a very valid question, and this one comes in from You'll Never Walk Alone 2.0. What has Hughes done since he's been here? Well, and this one as well. Thank you so much, Michael. You're very kind. There's not much to admire about me, bro. I'm just me. But I appreciate you being here with us, and thank you for your support. So, to get back to the question about what has Edwards or Hughes done since he's been here, nothing. And that, I feel that's a fair answer. You know, we've got Arne in, and that's great, and we're grateful for that, and it was a great decision and a great appointment. Pat on the back, well done on that one. But go back to the day he was announced, Richard Hughes, and watch every article published on that. And every one of them will have some variation of, the first thing in his inbox will be to sort the contracts. You know I'm right about that. Has he sorted one of them? Are we close to them being sorted? No. Again, Mohamed Salah said it, not me. No close to an announcement. Virgil, no news. Trent, well, clearly, no news there. So yeah, you do have to ask, what has he been doing? And what have the club been doing? Because, yeah, Hughes might have a I've only been here 6 months excuse, but the owners don't. The owners have allowed this situation to develop from 18 months ago. So the owners, the ones that are lauded as being the geniuses, the ones that cry arse to everybody about how every penny has to count, have let this situation go with a £100 million or £80 million player is going to walk out the door for free. And then we'll be told we've got no money to go out and sign players. Make that make sense, because it doesn't, and it isn't the right decision, and it wasn't the right decision, and it was never the right fucking decision, because, and I can't say this clearly enough, they don't give a fuck. They do not care about success, winning things, how we feel, don't care, only care about the value of the club, which is why they're sitting over in Boston not giving a shit, having somebody else run the club, who you'll hear the phrases like empowered. Empowered to do what? Fuck all? Sit in your arse? Not do your job? Please feel free to hire me on a multi-million-pound contract and empower me to do nothing. Because I can tell you one thing. Anybody would have this situation resolved in a week one way or the other. Anybody. How Trent hasn't been told very fucking quickly, you've got 72 hours, make up your damn mind, and if you don't want to be here, let us know. 72 hours, this is our best offer, take it or not. Straightforward. What are we pussyfooting around for? We've already showed him the respect that he hasn't shown back by not pulling a fast run on him when Kloppo was leaving. So we've done that, that's the respectful part from the club done. Has it been reciprocated? No. Secret talks, remember? Michael Owen's words. Carragher, he's been talking about Madrid behind the scenes. We know this, but we're supposed to believe in this fairy tale world of happy clappy bullshit that everyone's great, no one's underhanded, and everybody just wants to sing Kumbaya, make rose petals and just dance around a fire. That's not the way the world works. Money makes the world go round. That's all they're all in this for. Money. That's all this is about. Money. Money for the owners, money for Trent, money, fucking money. And it needs to be called out. What's going on with Salah and VVD? Said Footy Banter. I need your in-depth substance. You may not have concrete news, but give us something. So what I can say to you is 100% they want to be here. They both want to stay. And if you want me to play devil's advocate on this a little bit as well, I mean, if I'm the club on this, I also understand their options are somewhat limited to go and achieve what they want. Barca wouldn't be an option. Madrid wouldn't be an option. PSG isn't really appealing. Saudi, they're both too good for. So from the club's perspective, it is a bit of brinksmanship on that. And I'm okay with that being around numbers, but I still wanted to get to a conclusion because I don't want the lads to feel disrespected either or undervalued by the club. So I do think they get sorted, and I think both of them sign contract extensions. And I'm pretty confident about that. In fact, I'm very confident about that. But that's mainly because, again, it's easy to see that they want to be here. We know that Mohamed Salah's family are very settled. We know his kids are in school. We know he likes his lifestyle and he likes where he lives. So, again, though, if you want to be angry about the situation, it's penny pinching from the owners. It all comes from the top. All the decisions, all this talk of empowerment is bollocks. And I never buy into it. Because they aren't going to empower Richard Hughes to go out and spend 250 million, are they? You very much know who'd be making that decision then, wouldn't you? And it wouldn't be all about empowerment then. So I don't buy into that empowerment argument. Can I just say, big fan of the channel, Craig, have been for a while. On this TRENT situation, are we looking at similar situation to Philip? You've lost me on this one. Yeah, sorry, you've lost me on this one, mate. I don't know where you're going with it, Tom. Philip? Sorry, am I very stupid here? I probably am. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that one, mate. Oh, Coutinho. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. So, Coutinho I knew a little bit more about, to be honest. Coutinho was really underhanded. Melissa Reddy wrote about this. Felipe Coutinho spoke to other senior pros at Liverpool Football Club, I think including Jordan Henderson, to ask them to speak to Klopp on his behalf to try and make the move happen. This after he'd given his word to the club that he would stay for the season, by the way. And then Barca put the old hard and fast, it's now or never in January, and he bought it, and it is what it is. So I knew a lot more about that situation. This one, you know, I've tried to be respectful, even though every sign to me was pointing to Trent going. Because it's not that hard to say that you want to be here. You know, and he's not said it. This thing, though, that feels like a kick in the nuts at this point. It really does. And the wry smile when the journalist asked him what it meant. Speak up or shut the fuck up, Trent. It's that simple. Do you know what I mean? Just man up and stop being a pussy. Be honest. Don't hide behind your agent or cryptic clues. Grow a pair. Stand in front of a fucking camera. Be a man and tell the fans that have helped you get to where you are and that have supported you all the way through what's happening. Or don't. But don't complain about what happens afterwards. Don't complain when you're booed. Don't complain when you're sniggered at in the city. Don't complain when you're thrown into the heap with Michael Owen and Steve McManaman as not real legends. Don't profess to be confused as to why. Don't play the woe is me bullshit sympathy card. It's a really straightforward situation. Grow a pair or fuck off. It's one or the other. You can't have jam on both sides of your bread. Time to speak up. And again, I know people are going to hate me for this. I know people are going to be saying, no, I don't care. It's how I feel. It's how I feel. He's a coward. He's an absolute fucking coward. Hasn't got the bottle to front up the camera because maybe he doesn't want to admit to himself that he wants to go. Maybe he can't quite come to say the words. And if that's the case, that should be telling him something as well. Honesty isn't hard. And people respect it. I've no time for cowards. I've no time for people speaking out of both sides of their mouth. It's not befitting of somebody who wants to captain Liverpool Football Club. Dave said, no, that was Harry. Sorry, mate. So many comments. I'm trying to play catch up. This one, Dave. Sorry. And then there's Benjamin's as well. Dave said, I don't want the Trent business to throw the team off for the rest of the season. That's what happened to Klopp. Announced he was leaving. This one from Benjamin said, hey Craig, what's this one? I've contacted my mate from Spain a few weeks ago. I said Marca would attack Trent. He told me the situation has changed. He believes then Trent created this and started last summer. Again, it's not hard to speak up is what I would say for Trent. He's the only one that's not said a damn word to anybody about any of it other than his vague nonsense. Not many players around nowadays with loyalty like Gerrard, unfortunately. Yep, and this isn't about money, and I don't think it's about winning. Because both of those things can be covered at Liverpool. Trophies and money. So be honest. Again, like I've said, be honest and stop being a coward. Remember, Owen left and Liverpool won the greatest Champions League. Yep, I know. But Owen likes to pretend he doesn't understand maybe why he's not held in the same acclaim as the others as well. I mean, it's because these people are surrounded by yes men all the time. They don't fucking live in reality. They're surrounded by people in the club whose only job is to run around and look after them. They're surrounded by agents and people blowing smoke up their arse. They live in this little bubble where they think that they can do everything. They can lie to us, they can be loved by us, they can do everything. And there's no blame to be put on them. Well, somebody needs to get these people by the fucking scruff of the neck and say, sorry, that's not the real world. That's not the people you're representing. That's not how to act in this situation. Too much of this mollycoddling bullshit going on these days with not enough people with a backbone to say it like it is. I wonder what the other Liverpool fan channels are up to right now, because I haven't been paying any attention. But I wouldn't say too many of them are calling him a coward, because they wouldn't get the interviews at the club then, would they? They wouldn't get the little Christmas parties and the little handy bits. But, you know, they are fans though. Of course you are. You're a fucking business ahead of everything else. Be honest about it. Trent, this is again not my words, but I'm reading it out. F Trent the Rat, get rid now. He's given Rail the green light. They wouldn't have made an offer other words. There's no other scouts from the team. There's only one other scouts from the team, Curtis Jones. I bet Trent's girlfriend wants the hot weather all year round. I don't know, as I've said. But, you know, I like to think people come to this channel because I call it like I see it. You know, I don't ever claim to be right all the time, but I tell you what, I'm right on this. I'm right, and you know I'm right. It doesn't take much to grow a pair and front up to a camera. And I tell you one thing, if he had have said last month in an interview, I've made a decision, most difficult decision of my life. I've won everything there is to win at this club, and I'll treasure it forever. Virgil is the club captain at the minute. He'll probably extend, and the club's in great hands with him. Arne's come in and done a fantastic job as manager. But me, I have a burning desire. I want to try something new in my career. It's a short career. I want to try something different. An opportunity has presented itself to move to another league and another climate at a new chapter of my career, and I want to accept that. And I want to take that chapter on. And I want to give it my best shot. Don't know how it pans out. Maybe I don't win a Ballon d'Or. Maybe I do. But I want to give it my best. It'll be a heart-wrenching decision, but I've decided that I'm going to go to Real Madrid. There you go. That's not hard, is it? And then people will go, oh, shit. But it'd be a lot harder to hate him, wouldn't it? Be a lot harder to hate him. Because all he's done now is make it very, very easy for people. And where are all these geniuses that are surrounding him? The PR merchants. The people that are paid big bucks to advise him on what to say and when to say it. Idiots, Trent. Every one of them. Fire them. Because they're fucking morons. They haven't got your best interest at heart. All that they've done is lie to you. So whoever is advising them doesn't live in the real world. Absolute disgrace we're in this position, said Corbyn. Paul said, I think Mr. Bellingham has been in his ear. Maybe, I don't know. But like I've said all the way through, It's not hard to come out with a sentence and say I want to stay, or don't believe what you hear in the media, or don't believe what you're reading. It's not hard to say that. It's not hard to brief that if you don't want to come out and say it yourself. But he hasn't. And that, for me, is the sneakiest, most fucking disingenuous, cowardly thing of all of this. Is that the multimillionaire hasn't got the balls to tell the truth. There it is, in a nutshell. Wants jam on both sides of his bread. Wants to drag it out. And as Onan Carragher has said, wants it to be so he can say, well, Real Madrid tried to buy me in January, but Liverpool wouldn't do it. So I tried to get the club to get some money, but the club wouldn't take the money. That's where this is going. Trent, speak on Sunday if you want to stay or F off. Doesn't need to do it. One tweet. Again, not hard. One tweet. Don't believe what you're reading. I haven't made up my mind. Anything. I know people want to think the best of everyone. I get it. People idolise these people and don't want to think that they aren't perfect. It's like all of our fathers. We all grow up and most of us, our father's our hero. You don't think there's any fault in the man. You idolise him, you worship him. But as you get older, you realise he's not perfect. Might be perfect to me, but he's not perfect. It's the same with footballers. Everything is marketing. He's marketed as the local boy who grew up in the shadow of the club, idolising it, because that makes more money. Simple as that. Pulls on the heartstrings. So don't be surprised when the backlash comes, because those same heartstrings that you're pulling on, you've now broken. And that's going to provoke a reaction. Liam said, I'm telling you now as a local fan, he won't be forgiven for this, mate. I'm telling you now, he's told Madrid what he wants. He's destroying his legacy. Of course, my system crashed again. That's twice today YouTube have crashed my system. Bear with me. I'll get that back up now. He's destroying his legacy. This one is different to Stevie G in 0506. Trent is gone. Well, I think it's different as well because, again, we'd won a Champions League in 0506, but we weren't exactly looking likely to go on and dominate English football for the next few years. Right now, everything he said he wants to achieve, Trent, he can achieve at Liverpool Football Club. Except the Ballon d'Or, which he's never getting. Anywhere. So, again, that's another local fan there. And I've heard from a lot of match-going fans telling me about what they're saying, what people around them are saying at the game. Benedict said, Craig, it'll be okay. Of course it will, mate. Look, be under no disillusionment about that. The club will be okay. Of course. I'm not thinking the club's about to fall off a cliff or anything like it, mate. The club, been here, seen this before. You know, the club will be absolutely sound. Trent will be replaced. We'll move on. We'll find new idols. We'll find new heroes. We'll find new players that we all fall in love with. Rinse, repeat, and we go again. But it does hurt a little bit more when he's that local boy that you thought was going to be a one-club man who's leaving for free. One sec. I have a few more things to get through. I'm just trying to play catch up with all the comments to make sure I don't miss any. Right. Here's another one from Thabo. Said, from my lips to God's ears, relegate Man United. Big Virgil van Dijk said, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, fellow Agendians and your families. Craig, thanks for another banging straight 2 year. Well, thank you. T. Broughton said, we're Liverpool, we go on with or without you. Exactly. Agree with you on that one. Trent said he don't want his legacy damaged, but the whole situation is damaging it already. Yes, exactly, because he wants to play every side of this. He wants the best of all worlds. It's not possible, though, and somebody should tell him that. Is this Trent situation partly on the club too? Of course, absolutely. The club are not coming out of this smelling of roses. Make no mistake about that. They've allowed this situation to develop. I can afford this super chat because I won't be spending the money on Trent's Adidas kit next year. At least there'll be a mural spot in town. Thank you, Andy. Trent is a turncoat. Sell and take the money, said Monkstown Glass. Thank you, mate, for your membership as well with us for 3 months. And for everything else, mate. You've always been very kind. Right, let's end this poll now. So we've had over 2,700 votes. Oh my God, it's level. It's equal. I can't end it. So right now, 41% of people say sell him in January. 41% of people say keep playing him. So I'm going to keep it going until we get, say, 3,000 votes, and then we'll end it. But you can see how close this one is. Drop him isn't really getting much love, so it's mainly between keep playing him or sell him in January as the what should the club do. And it's really close. Which is what I said at the start of the stream about there's no right or wrong here, there's only how you feel. Come on, it's Real Madrid. Would you turn them down? Yes. Yes, mate, I would. I say this with a straight face. I'm a Liverpool fan, remember? Liverpool would be my be-all and end-all. As it should be for Trent. Like, Real Madrid, in my opinion, are like that good-looking girl with no personality. Who doesn't give a fuck about you. Who looks good on your arm. But really, when it comes down to it, probably hasn't got your back. That's how I look at Madrid. Is, well, the shiny thing with no substance is probably what I'd say most fairly. But yes, mate, I absolutely would turn them down. Because Liverpool would be the destination for me. And the idea of being a one-club man and idolised for the rest of my life in the city I live in, the city I grew up in, that would appeal a lot to me. So yeah, I guess it depends on what you want out of your life, right? T. Broughton, welcome back to Anfield Agenda FC. We are only 10 subscribers away now, by the way, from 290k. So if you can, I know it's a weird night. I know it's a tough night, but I appreciate you all being in and sharing New Year's with me as well. So thank you to everyone that is with us. If you can, though, do drop a like and do hit that subscribe button if you're new in. Right. Benjamin said, I think as a business person, we may slay Hughes, but it isn't a coincidence that this came out on New Year's Eve. This is ballsy PR by the club. This has come from Richard Hughes. Well, I want to go back to what Cara and Owen had to say, because I think it's good insight from people who've been in and around the game. So, let me just go back to... Where is it? There we go. So, Carragher said, the most important thing for Liverpool in 2025 is winning the Prem. No one's contract or future should come in the way of that. I love Trent as a lad and as a player, but his team would have told Real Madrid to bid and would also have known that Liverpool would turn it down. It's to try and cover themselves when he leaves for free. Again, it's something the club fans don't need with a huge game coming up. On top of that, Owen has said, the very fact that Real Madrid have now made their intentions clear towards Trent and signing him leads me to believe that it's only a matter of time before he signs with them. If he was going to sign a contract extension, Madrid wouldn't have officially made their move. Secretive talks will have taken place. Huge news. So I don't know if I can agree, Benjamin, that it will have come from Richard Hughes. But let me say this to you, mate. What I would say now is that the club now need to have a strong response to this and flex their muscle a little bit here, because they can't allow Trent to become bigger than the club. They can't allow this situation to manifest itself in them looking weak. This has to be dealt with appropriately and swiftly, which I've no doubt they will. Neverland said, Trent celebration, was it a shut up to us as fans? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, mate. Only Trent can give you what he really meant by that. But as we've already discussed, he hasn't got the courage to front up to you and the fans. And do you know what? I hope somehow this clip makes it to him. I really do. Because that's all it is here is you're a coward, Trent. You don't have the balls to sit in front of the fan base that have idolised you, that have worshipped you, that have got behind you, defended you when others didn't, when England weren't giving you a look in, that when people said you couldn't defend, and all this other stuff, and Liverpool fans went out there and fought for you and had your side. Don't have the guts to come and tell them the honest truth now, Trent, do you? So keep surrounding yourself with the yes men, the agents, the cowards who don't have the balls to tell it like it is. I will. You're a coward. Wouldn't he be a success at Real given he can't defend? I don't think the fans there will appreciate his defensive deficiencies. Well, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. He'll have a couple of bad games. They'll be screaming for Carvajal to come back into the team and they'll want him dropped. That's what will happen. Because the same that happens to everybody else. Thank you on this one, Royal Flush. Didn't put in a comment, but appreciate you. Trent does not deserve to win these trophies with us this season. Drop him, said Alex. I would drop him, Alex, but I do understand others feeling differently. And actually, if you look at the poll now, keep playing him is winning by 1%. So right now, 42% of people want to keep playing Trent despite him sticking two fingers up at them because they think it will give us a better chance of winning a trophy. And I understand that. I just don't feel the same. I very much feel like, fuck you, sit in the reserves, on the bench, piss off to Madrid, don't care, but you're not impacting the dressing room. That's where I'd be at if I was the coach. He'd very much be training with the reserves or with the 21s, and I wouldn't let him near the dressing room. I'd show him the same respect he's shown everybody else. None. But then again, look, as I said, I'm a very blunt person who lives in a black and white world where I act on emotion. Bench Trent till the end of the season. If he wants to leave, really don't care. The club has and always will come first. So, again, as I said, we're now over 3,000 votes. What should the club do here? And 1% in it, 42% of people feel like we should keep playing him. 41% of people think the club should sell him in January. And 17% of people are saying drop him. So, again, I think I appreciate everybody's perspective on it. I'm going to end the poll there because we have had over 3,000 votes. But 1% more feel that the club should keep playing him. Which, again, I disagree with, but I do respect your opinions and thank you for giving them. Make your apology as loud as this if he stays, Craig. He doesn't owe us anything. Leave it out. Cool. I've no problem with you feeling that way, mate. But, again, I have a different perspective on it. And are you going to come back in and apologise to me if he goes? Because you don't think he owes us anything, so I don't see what the fuss is about from your perspective. Because clearly loyalty doesn't matter to you. Right? And that's okay. Again, I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. But I'm saying I have a different moral compass that guides how I feel. And no, the apology won't be loud because I won't be making one. If he stays, he stays. But everything that I've said is true. So, no, there won't be an apology. There won't be a walking back of it. Nor will there be from Carragher or Owen or everybody else that's come out and said it, or Danny Murphy or other former players. No, there won't be a walking back because he's a coward. That much I'm very, very confident and comfortable in saying. It's easy to sit there and say nothing. It takes balls to front up to the situation and be honest with people. Anybody with morals would be honest. Anybody that truly has respect for people would be honest. But he hasn't been. So, no, to answer your question. No walking it back. Right, what else we got? I'd start Gomez a lot more because he shows loyalty. Well, look, for me, excuse me, my apologies, hang on. For me, I'd sell in January. That's what I would do. And I'd rely on Gomez and Conor Bradley for the remainder of the season. And either way, I think it would make... Like, I'd rather get some money for Trent than no money for Trent. Because I don't like the idea of somebody playing the last few months of the season knowing that their heart and their head are elsewhere. Because I don't believe that somebody's going to give me 100% or give us 100%. I'm cynical in that way. I openly admit that. I'm very cynical about stuff like that. So I'd sell and I'd take some money. Anyone know how much the bid was for Madrid? It was rumoured at 15 million. And yes, Gomez is injured for the minute, mate. I've seen somebody say Gomez not injured. He is, but, you know, a few weeks we're talking there. But yeah, between him and Bradley, I think we'd be okay till the end of the season. But look, somebody's also said, and I think we've let the club off the hook a bit here as well. It's not been great from our perspective, from the club's perspective. They've defo taken their eye off the ball with the Trent situation. And the other two contracts as well, to be honest. Monkstown Glass said, if he lifts a trophy in a Liverpool shirt and leaves, it's a joke. I don't understand how some people can feel that he owes us nothing. That whole sentiment baffles me. It really does. Because then we're saying loyalty doesn't mean anything. And I don't want to live in a world where loyalty doesn't mean anything. And I don't want to idolise and worship players if loyalty and all the things that they've told us means a lot to them doesn't really mean a lot to them. Why make all the ads from Adidas and all these other brands about growing up the local boy if he doesn't owe us anything? Because he's marketing on it. He's playing on the heartstrings. He's making money on the heartstrings. It's not a morality or loyalty issue. Trent has the right to take his career. Again, excuse me if I've come across differently, but has anybody or have I ever said he doesn't have the right to make his decision? So as much as he has the right to make his decision, we have the right to judge him for it. And at the moment, his decision has been to stay quiet and be a coward. Nobody said... I started off the whole stream tonight by saying it's Trent's career and Trent can do whatever he wants with that career. But he also has to live with the consequences of it. And you don't get to tell us that he can do whatever he wants, but we can't feel annoyed by it. That isn't going to wash. What about the owners? Well, you know my thoughts on the owners. The owners are cheap. And the owners have a lot that we should be calling them out on. A lack of transfer spending. A lack of paying Mo and Virgil. That's inexcusable as well. You know, the club are certainly not without blame in all of this. So yeah, there's a lot of blame to go around here. You're right. But maybe it's because I expected it of the owners. Because I've always expected that they're cheap. So when I think that they're cheap and they act cheap, it's not really a surprise to me as much as it does kind of still make me angry. Royal Flush said, I totally agree with you. Look, mate, some will, some won't. That's okay. As I said, I don't think there is a right and wrong way to look at this. It's however you individually feel. You know, how you feel is your own genuine beliefs and your own genuine emotions. I'm not going to tell you that's right or wrong. If he signs now, does he get his image back with the fans? Some. I think, look, a lot would forgive. It would depend on how the situation was painted. But I think, look, football fans, and I certainly do include myself in this, can be fickle beasts at times. And I think, ultimately, like I said the other day, everybody's acting from a sense of fear. here. Everybody's speaking from a perspective of the worst case scenario, which looks like it's unfolding. So, yeah, I think some people would let that smooth over, and others may not talk about it, but may not hold him in the same regard as they maybe once have. But I think it's probably a mixed answer. Trent has been very sneaky about all of this, said the LFC Reaper. Well, that's a good question to ask, because I think that's probably the next best poll to ask about, is how people feel he has acted during this. So I'm going to ask that question now. Okay, option 1. Okay, and last option. Right, so I've got 4 options, and the question is, how has Trent behaved during all of this? The options are, fine, he's done nothing wrong. Second option, not sure. Third, a little bit badly. Fourth, very poorly, he manipulated us. I think I've covered all bases there. And again, this isn't for me to tell you how to feel. This is for me to try and find out how you're feeling. BND Hates 2011 said, it feels like he's made his mind up a long time ago. I feel that way as well, mate. But it's you know what? Look, it's not a bad thing for people to want to think the best of somebody either. You know, it's a beautiful trait to have. And I admire people that want to constantly think the best of others. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad trait to have in life, you know. This is actually a really valid point that JCF102 has brought up in the chat, mate, and thank you for your thoughts. He said, you can't say you want talks to be played out privately, but allow Madrid mouthpieces to print lies to disconcert your fan base, or our fan base. That's a really good point. And thank you for sharing it. Yeah, it's a really good point. You're right. You know, because I think everybody wanted to give him that space to say, right, you want to deal with it privately, go ahead, off you pop. But you're right, when it then becomes very clear that one side are making this an unbalanced narrative, is probably the best term. Yeah, I think that's a fair point you've raised. Brian said, Craig, you're spot on about Trent. As you said, Ballon d'Or my arse. Look, I would say that even if he signed a new contract at Liverpool for the rest of his life. I just don't think he's good enough to ever be in a conversation for a Ballon d'Or. And that has nothing to do with the contract situation. That's just my take as a football fan who thinks he has an unbelievable set of skills as a ball striker, as a passer. Defensively, I think he's improved. He's better than he was. But he's still not even got a defined role, if you get me as such, because he isn't a natural right back from the sense we speak about it. So I just don't see him ever getting to that point or level. You know, he's in a team now where potentially a Ballon d'Or winner could come from, and he's probably not on the first 3 names any of us would think of. You're probably thinking Salah, Alisson, Virgil in some order. Riley said, Craig, 290,013. Yes, thank you so much to everyone that subscribed. If you're new to the channel, I promise you, it's not always this heated. It's not always this emotional. But I do appreciate all of you. And to everyone that is subscribing, thank you so much for your support. We hope to not let you down. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. John Jones, how are you, bro? Said, I'm a Welshman who has supported the club since the late 70s. And as my dear dad would say, Trent has pissed on his chips. Yeah. There's a few phrases come to mind for me as well, John. But usually, you know, our parents are those a bit older and wiser than us. Usually have a good way of looking at these situations, all right? And Happy New Year to yourself, John, and your family. Can we bring Milner back to slap sense into Trent? Did anybody see the Stephen Klopp account on X, actually? You know, the one that people were like, oh, is this the Klopp one for years? Said, I'll sort this situation today, which I thought was funny as well. Jammy Jam Jars, let me get to your comment, bro. Said, hey Craig, been a tough year for me mentally, but seeing your content has helped a lot, even as a United fan. Wish you and yours well. Bring on 2025. Thank you, mate. It's been lovely getting to know you a little bit over the year as well. You know, I would wish you well from a footballing perspective, but you know I wouldn't mean it for 2025. But to you and your family, man, thank you. And same to you. Have a wonderful 2025. Liam Maddow. Where's your comment, dude? Let me scroll all the way back up to it. There we go. Liam said, last one, Craig. Do you think he's told the club and they're the ones keeping it quiet? Also, do you agree with me? I think he's told Madrid due to them making an offer they wouldn't offer otherwise. I think that Michael Owen and Jamie Carragher have it spot on. I do. You know, I've picked bones out of a lot of what Carragher said this year, and I've agreed with some and I've disagreed strongly with others. But I think he's got this situation, and so is Michael Owen, absolutely spot on. 100% this is all done intentionally. To smooth the way, to say, well, I left on a free, but you could have got money. They tried to make an offer, you didn't accept the offer, you didn't talk about the offer. So, yeah, that's my take on it as well, Limo. But loyalty is the most important thing for me, but sadly that's gotten very, very rare these days. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll be really honest with you, mate. In my life, it's probably the most important thing for any relationship I have, whether it be my wife, my mates. Loyalty is really important, and I put a huge emphasis on it. And I think there's not enough of calling out people for speaking out of both sides of their mouth and calling out bullshit that we know is just media spin and PR. There's too much pandering down these days and not enough hard talking. Sorry, this one as well. Want to bring up? If Trent leaves, I'm moving Hey Jude by the Beatles from my Spotify. There you go. Thank you for making me smile, man. It's been a tough night. Like, you know, all I promised when I was coming on to do this stream was that I was going to be honest. And I was going to say how I feel. And I feel like he's been a coward. And I know I keep using that word, and it's a strong word, but that's how I feel right now. I feel like he's been a coward. So, the poll is up. We're nearly at 1,000 votes, but we'll keep it going a little bit longer. We said, how has Trent behaved during all of this? Fine, he's done nothing wrong. Not sure. A little bit badly. Or very poor, he's manipulated us. And we'll leave that going and we'll see. Because, you know, ultimately I can give you my take. I can read individual comments about it. But, you know, the best way to get an all-around picture of how people are feeling, I think, is with a poll. Because it gives us a bigger sample size. Craig, apparently Hussam is running his mouth about you. I don't care, Omar. He's irrelevant to me. Let him. He won't run his mouth when he meets me. I promise you that. So, Hussam, if you are running your mouth about me, mate, keep the energy. Because our paths will cross. That's all I'm going to say. And also, when you're the king, people take shots at you. Shit happens. He can run his mouth all he wants, but he's a little bitch. And little bitches get slapped. That's all I'm going to say. And little bitch didn't get onto my channel, so he cried about it. Because his toxicity is undeserving of the platform. So, fuck him and his thoughts, basically. And if he has a problem with that, I'm not hard to find. But he won't have, because he knows what will happen. He'll run his mouth as much as he wants online, and then ask for a photo like a good little beta boy when he sees me in person. Because I don't do my talking online. I don't do my talking to try and act like a hard man. He has something to say to me, he can come and fucking say it and deal with the consequences. Otherwise, keep my name out of your mouth. Thank you. Royal Flush, thank you, bro, for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you. And what type of Liverpool fan runs off to other fan channels to do match reactions before doing the Liverpool match reaction? All he is an arsehole that wants a bit of fame but hasn't got the talent or the football knowledge to get it. That's it. Simple as that. Not good enough, not charming enough, not funny enough, not intelligent enough. None of it. But wants to be in the game. So will say anything to get a reaction. It's not hard to get a reaction and say stupid shit. That's easy. But here's your problem, Hussam, and I'll tell you if this is a free gift from me to you. What you're going to find, mate, is that over the course of time, when you're saying all the stupid shit and people are egging you on in the background, they don't really give a fuck about you. They're using you. But here's the thing, mate. You'll get to a tipping point where your stupidity and your stupidity of comment has to keep getting higher and higher and more obscene until you get to the point that there's no turning back and you're just known for being the mouthy arsehole with stupid takes, and then you've got to play that character forever. But here's the thing, mate. You're not clever enough or funny enough to walk that tightrope. And also, your views on women and how you treat them are fucking despicable. So, again, I'm not hard to find. Come looking for me. We'll sort it out. I promise you. But run your mouth and see what fucking happens. Anyway, Steve Lewis, thank you, bro, for your super chat as well. Appreciate that, mate. That's incredibly kind of you, do. Thank you. I don't care what he has to say. He's an arsehole. Whatever he has to say, he's an arsehole. So I don't care. There's a reason why he's not on the channel. He's a nobody. I don't give a fuck. So can we move on and get back to the topic of the day? Thanks. Remember, only reason this is getting spoken about is because somebody told me about it in the chat. I don't care what he has to say. He's irrelevant to me. Right. So, again, I'm going to say, I don't care. Stop talking about it. Of course he's reacting to me. I'm the A team. I'm the A side. I'm the big content creator. He needs me. He needs to use my name. It's very clear. Even if Trent signs a contract, I don't think he should be captain ever. Look, I don't know what happens at this point. There's no coming back for me from this because I feel the whole situation's played itself out to a point now where he's going to just go to Madrid. Sorry, Ryan, did I miss a super chat, bro? My apologies. Let me fly back through it, mate. It's been a hectic one here, mate, tonight. Sorry, mate. I'm trying to find it here. Bear with me, Ryan. Where is it? I can't see it, mate. Sorry. I can't see it. I've gone back through and maybe I've missed it. Well, I've clearly missed it, mate. Sorry, but... yeah, sorry, man. I apologise, but I can't see it. Phoenix said, I think he's staying. I really don't agree, mate. But look, I wish I had your optimism. I'll say that for you. Has anyone thought he might be staying? Of course. Not for long, should I say, but... So, again, I'm going to just address this really quickly. So, I get somebody in my chat saying, Hussam's running his mouth. I react. Then I get people in my chat saying, he's not running his mouth. So, if he hasn't said anything about me, then clearly I owe the man an apology. If he has said something about me, as I've said, I'm not hard to find. So, let me say this really clearly. If he said nothing about me, then Hussam, I apologise. I'm an arsehole. That's on me. I shouldn't have been baited by the chat. If he did, then everything I say holds true. But again, I can only react to what I see in the chat. And if people are trying to stir shit, sincere apologies. I don't like to fall out with anyone. But I've had a lot of people talking about me lately, clickbaiting me on thumbnails, making me out to have said stuff I haven't said. And it winds me up. So sincerely, honestly, I apologise if I'm wrong. I've no problem putting my hands up. But I wish people would stop stirring shit if that's the case. But sincerely, Hussam, an apology from me to you if I owe it to you, sir. No caveats. If I'm wrong, that's on me. I'll strive to be better and I apologise. So now can we just... Because, again, I'm trying to do my stream and people are trying to say this and say that. And I don't know because I don't watch anyone. But I can only take people for granted. And if I have been baited by my own chat, well, that's a different conversation. I need to look into that myself. So, said, I'm not afraid to say sorry. Anywho, let's move. Right, I'm sorry, I'm just removing some more people from the chat. Happy New Year from Abu Dhabi. Nice. What's the time difference, actually? If you don't mind me asking. Do you know what always freaks me out, actually? Is that if we're in, let's say, Ireland here, that we're on the same time zone as, I think, Nigeria, South Africa, and some other countries in Africa, because we're on the same line of the equator or whatever. That always freaks me out. So what, 4 hours? Nice. Ross Cronin said, Craig, thanks for being a real voice for all of us supporters and football club. Want nothing more than success, which we deserve. So let me just say one thing real quickly. Remember what I said about saying stupid shit? That applies to anybody out there. If you're getting into the content world, don't be baited into saying stuff for a reaction. Don't be baited into being the guy who says over the top stuff, because it's the quickest way to get noticed. But like I said with my little rant that seems like it was misplaced, it only goes one way. And that you have to keep being more sensationalist, you have to keep being more over the top, and you don't get respect. So anyone out there starting their journey on content, don't take the easy low hanging fruit initially, because it's going to cost you. And I got baited into it at the start. I made mistakes on my own, did shows and videos I shouldn't have done, learned some lessons along the way. And tonight I've learned another lesson about being baited. And I take everybody at face value. So if somebody comes into this chat and says, Craig, I have a 12-inch penis, then I'm going to go, congratulations on your 12-inch penis. If somebody comes into this chat and goes, Craig, have you seen X and Y over on blah, blah, blah channel saying you're an arsehole? I think that you're actually somebody who has my best interests because you're in my chat and you're being honest. So if I get baited, which I may have, I apologise. But again, I can only go off the information I'm given. And maybe I'm naive in that regard, because I take everyone at face value, and you know, I believe people that are in my chat are here for good reasons, not to stir shit. The celebration from TRENT feels like a kick in the teeth now. If he goes, and to be honest, even if he stays, feels like his legacy will be slightly soured now by the whole situation. The Faceman Network said, oh, sorry bro, let me bring this one up. Trent Alexander-Arnold leaves, Conor Bradley steps in, but then we need a backup, and thus a right back, a left back, a centre back, a DM, and a number 9. With Hughes at the helms of sorting that out, feels dire to me when we should be on top. I've got no... I've got no belief in the owners to bankroll what would need to be done there. I have belief in the ability of Edwards and Hughes to find the players, but I don't know under what constraints they're working, because I just don't trust the owners are going to spend what it needs to keep the success. That's, yeah. Danny said, Craig, sorry if you already answered, but are you feeling better today? I was worried for you. You're an amazing guy, so much. Thank you. So, yeah, look, yesterday I realised after the stream, Danny, and I genuinely only realised afterwards that it was the anniversary of my dad's death. He died on the 30th, and I didn't put two and two together until, I was talking to my wife after the stream, and I looked down at the phone and seen the date, and then I thought, oh shit. So then that explained to me why I felt the way that I felt, mate. And it's many years later, but it still hurts the same. So I think my body and my mind clearly knew what was happening, but I didn't put the pieces together until later on that night. But no, I'm okay today, thank you. I'm feeling really bad now about my rant about Hussam. Yeah, I'm going to beat myself up about that one for a while, because I'm all up for going after people who go after me, but I don't like being baited into saying stuff that it isn't fair, because that's not fair on other people either. So yeah, gotta certainly take a minute to learn a lesson on that one. Maybe need to be a little bit less trusting of every comment. Trent has the opportunity to be up there with Stevie G, etc. I don't know what he's doing. I personally think he's going. Look, I think he's going as well. Takes a man to say sorry. Happy New Year, fella. Look, I'm always going to say sorry if I'm in the wrong, man. Any decent human being should do that. I don't get why people go on a wind-up, though. Do you know? I don't get why people stir shit. Especially on channels that they profess to like. So whether it's me, Hussam, Redmen, Tall, or anybody else, I just don't know why you do it. But then again, I don't know. As I say, I'm a very simple black and white person, and if I don't like something, I'd steer clear of it rather than subject myself to it. Whitney, how are you, Whitney? And Happy New Year to you, my friend. Said, Trent's been a great player and a model club rep. Let's not begrudge his choices. He doesn't owe us his entire career. Look, everyone yelling to sell Andy. Fans' loyalty is fickle. It is. No, absolutely, Whitney. And I'm fickle as a fan. Absolutely. But the thing, Whitney, for me, and I can only speak for me, mate, is it's not hard to be honest and upfront, And you're right. Footballers owe us nothing. But it still hurts when you feel manipulated and you feel lied to and you feel undermined. But you're perfectly valid to raise the point you've raised, mate. And we are fickle. I'll be the first one to admit to you. Part of our job description as football fans is to be hypocrites at times. But I think you only get to this level of anger or frustration with the ones that mean a lot to you, particularly in this case, the local boy. Chris said, relax, we're going to win the league. Oh, look, I'm fully on board with that, mate. I think we're winning the league no matter what happens over the next few months. Right, we're now up to 1,700 votes, and I'm going to end the poll. So the results are going to come up on the screen now in a second. So we asked the question, how has Trent behaved during all of this? Very poorly. He manipulated us is the leading answer with 38%. In second place, a little bit badly with 23%. In third place with 21%, fine, he's done nothing wrong. And not sure with 15%. And again, I don't think there is a right and wrong answer to this. I think it's how you feel personally. It's an individual thing. Ben said, so frustrating that we're bossing the first half of the season in the league and in Europe, yet here we are all annoyed over the whole situation. These are the moments we should be loving. Exactly, mate. Exactly that. And I guess this brings us on to the conversation around how has it gotten to this point? Because, you're right. Trent's going to get the brunt of it over the next few days or whatever. But the club don't come out of this smelling with roses either. And they've certainly got some questions to answer on how this situation's been allowed to get here. And not one of them being resolved. So the whole thing about Richard Hughes and what has he done since he's come in is I think the one question I really can't answer, because I think it's a fair question. And you can keep saying that they're negotiating, they're trying, but 6 months with no breakthrough, that may tell you something in itself if you're still here 6 months later and you can't find any common ground. Jeremy K, how are you, mate? And thank you so much for the super chat, mate. Appreciate you. Robert Cosby said, Happy New Year, Craig, to you and your family. Thank you. Should go for Olmo now. Trent is just using leverage. The Dani Olmo stuff is mad. Have you seen this? So Barcelona have gone through, I think, 2 appeal courts trying to get that situation overturned so that they could register Dani Olmo. It doesn't even look like that he wants to go out on loan or anything. And I think, if I'm right, La Liga have given Barcelona 3 days to prove that they can financially register him. Now, for those who aren't aware, and I'm not an expert on this by any stretch, but La Liga have their own internal FFP system where the club give all their information to La Liga about financials, wage bills, all this stuff, and it's inputted into a computer, and I don't know what algorithm it is, but it spouts out what they can spend, how much they can spend, and what they have to wiggle with. And Barcelona, the numbers aren't added up at the minute. Robert, I'm not sure if I've already answered this one, mate, but Happy New Year to you and your family as well, mate. Really appreciate you. Bulgars Taste Salty said, we don't owe Trent either. The only reason we care about him is he plays for Liverpool. If he ceases to play here, why should he get our respect? You see, that's how I feel, mate. I'm very much the same mindset as you. Is that, like I've said all the way through, respect is a two-way street. Respect's a two-way street. Sorry, reading through some other comments there. Benjamin said, before the end of the night tonight, Craig, let's end on a positive for the stream. I'm so baffled the top of the league team is going through this. Yeah, look, there's loads to be grateful for, Benjamin, for this season and for the remainder of the season. Is there anybody in the chat who doesn't think we're winning at least one trophy this season? Because in some things in life, I'm a very pessimistic person, and other things I'm extremely optimistic. And with this season, I'm really optimistic about the potential for silverware. I think we're the best team in the league. I think that should be clear at this point. I do believe City will get better. They'll rebuild a little bit. We don't know what way the charges will go, but there's too much work to be done now for them this season. They might be able to get it right in time for the knockout point of the Champions League. We'll see how that goes. But Arsenal, they don't worry me, because I think they don't have the stomach for it. I don't think they have the mentality to win it. I don't think the manager sets the right mentality to win it. I think they're a don't lose it team rather than a go and win it team. Score prediction versus Man United. Oh, I'm very scared to make it, because I'm going to say a high score because everything points to a whooping, right? But I also thought we were going to beat them by a really high score last year. And do you remember the stream where everybody still brings it up to me where I said Salah can piss off the Saudi and take Darwin with him? What people neglect to mention when they call me out for that, which by the way wasn't great of me to say, was that game against United where we were so bad against a team who were so bad, and we should have absolutely wiped the floor with them. And because that game means so much, that's the one game for me every season that I want us to win more than any other. That's the game that stirs the emotion most with me, so that's why I was so pissed off in that one. But ultimately, realistically, I'm thinking 4-1, something along that, like a comfortable 3-goal, 4-goal victory with the potential for it to become even higher if we get it right. Like, if we play like we played against West Ham in attack, God only knows. You know, it could be anything. It could be a cricket score. Yeah, because they're devoid of confidence. If you get the early goals in, I think they'll revert to type. Yeah, I think it should be a comfortable victory, but you got to earn it first. Buddha said, Craig, we can really this year win multiple trophies, especially with everybody falling off. Mate, won't be long till you hit 1 million subs. You know what? Tonight's made me think about everything again. I'm still pissed off over that whole Hussam thing. For 2 reasons. 1, for me getting baited, and 2, for the people trying to bait me. And that makes me question this whole part of my life, you know. Like, do I need to subject myself to that? Because I don't like the look of myself when I get into that angry rant. But that's me. That's who I am. And if I'm backed into a corner and somebody's coming out swinging, I'm coming out nuclear. But when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I feel really bad about that. So I guess I got a question in the next day or two. Who I can trust. Who I can be honest and open with. And be a bit less naive. Lol said, Craig, I'm a United fan. I think you guys will win 9-0. We're so bad at set pieces. I can see you scoring a lot. Look, the potential's there for us to wipe the floor with United, definitely. But, you know, let's wait and see what happens. Again, people saying it's not my fault. It is. It is my fault. It is my fault. People can lie to me and bait me all they want, but ultimately I could have held off, and I could have waited, and I could have watched the clip, and I could have seen what was said. But I didn't. I ran my mouth, and I feel bad for that. Because, again, I should have known better. I should have been better. Do you think that Madrid is doing this to cause chaos within the fan base? Oh yeah, 100%. Like, this is Madrid's MO. You know, this is what Real Madrid do. So, not at all surprised. No, God no. They are they're known for it. So, do you know what? Actually, to kind of mix it up a little bit, I've clipped up a few things here from for players who are available on free transfers that Liverpool could perhaps negotiate with in January. I'm not saying all these are targets or anything like it, but I've picked a handful of players that I think are interesting. So the first one is Divine Wrench. 21 years of age, has impressed at Ajax, and given Slot's defensive injuries this season, he's been spoken about as maybe somebody who Liverpool could look at on the cheap in January or on a pre-contract for the end of the season. Another one, Jonathan David of Lille. Again, we've spoken about Jonathan David a little bit on the stream. He's up at the end of the season on a free contract as well. We're going to get a chance to see Jonathan David up close and personal when we play Lille on the 22nd of January. So he's an option. Lille are going to want to keep him, obviously, and they're going to try to get him to agree to a new deal. So we'll see what happens there. Joshua Kimmich is another name we've spoken about. He does turn 30 early next year, I think February time. So he could be a short-term option for Liverpool if they still want to get a body into the deeper lying midfield area and keep an eye out for younger talent, maybe with a view to a longer future. And the only other one is the one that is probably very unrealistic, but it's a name that I think lots of Liverpool fans would like, and that's Alphonso Davies. He's 24 years of age, but most likely going to be heading to Madrid or potentially Manchester United even. Don't forget, Slot hasn't bought his own men in yet. Yeah, that's another part as well of all of this is I'm interested to see. I don't think we're going to make a signing in January, if I'm honest. If I'm being honest, but I very much hope something comes up and changes that. Craig, best wishes to you and Connor for 2025. Been a Liverpool fan since the early 70s. Let Trent go if he wants. The club won't look back. The future is bright. Thank you, Alan, and same to you and your family, mate. I really do appreciate your support, and I agree with you. Look, it'll suck if Trent goes, but we will move on as a club. You're right. We will get past it. And we'll see what happens. So look, I have a couple more to get through. 1 second. Robert Cosby said, Klopp said to Coutinho, stay to build you a statue, leave and you're just another player. Feel the same goes for Trent? Yeah, of course. It just stings more for Trent because he's a local boy, and it's also difficult to try and find the reason for it in your mind because we're challenging, we're at the top of the league, we're in a good place. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So look, I'm going to go and record a recap video, and it'll be the last bit of content I do this year. I'm taking tomorrow off because I was supposed to originally take today off, but the Trent story kind of came into Liverpool fan base's ecosystem, so I felt like I should jump on and see how everyone's feeling about it. If you could do me a favour, if you're watching, hit that subscribe button for me before you head off, and if you are with us still, do drop a like on the stream. Most importantly though, to all of you watching, your families and your friends and everybody else, have a wonderful 2025. Enjoy ringing in the new year with your family and friends. I'm going to be curled up on the sofa with my missus watching the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special because that's how boring I am. And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing me to be me, mistakes and all. I appreciate each and every one of you. I apologise again tonight for misplacing my rant for somebody that seemingly did not deserve it. So I apologise for that again. And I'll see you guys soon. We'll talk to you January 2nd. Much love. Bye-bye. Oh, but if something does happen tomorrow with Trent, expect to see a video. But until then, Happy New Year to you all, and thank you for your support.